Throughout history, humanity has been shaped by battles, feats, and heroes who changed the course of events. Who are the deadliest warriors whose names still inspire awe? From samurai and kings to generals and gladiators, these legendary figures left an indelible mark thanks to their bravery, skill, and genius. Today, we'll uncover the stories of the 10 greatest warriors of all time. You'll learn how they achieved greatness, the feats that made them immortal in history, and why their names continue to inspire admiration. So, get ready to travel through time and discover these legendary heroes who became symbols of unmatched strength and mastery. Let's begin this thrilling ranking with a legendary samurai whose combat skills remain unparalleled to this day. Warrior number 1, Miyamoto Musashi. Miyamoto Musashi, a legendary Japanese swordsman born in 1584, is renowned as one of history's greatest samurai. Orphaned at a young age, Musashi honed his skills through rigorous training and a relentless pursuit of mastery. By the age of 13, he won his first duel and went on to engage in over 60 life-or-death duels, emerging victorious each time. Musashi was not only a fighter but also a philosopher and artist. His most famous work, The Book of Five Rings, explores the philosophy of strategy and combat, blending martial and mental discipline. His duel against Sasaki Kojiro, where he used a wooden sword to defeat a skilled rival, remains legendary. Musashi spent his later years perfecting his craft and teaching his philosophy, leaving a legacy of skill and wisdom unmatched by others. Warrior number 2, Alexander the Great. Born in 356 BCE in Macedonia, Alexander the Great was destined for greatness. Taught by the philosopher Aristotle, Alexander demonstrated his brilliance as a military commander by the age of 18. After succeeding his father, King Philip II, he embarked on a campaign to conquer the Persian Empire, achieving victory after victory. Alexander's army, though often outnumbered, was highly disciplined and expertly led. At the Battle of Gaugamela in 331 BCE, he decisively defeated the Persian king Darius III, securing control of Persia. His empire stretched from Greece to India, and he founded over 20 cities, including Alexandria in Egypt, spreading Greek culture and influence. Despite his untimely death at the age of 32, Alexander's vision of a united world and his extraordinary conquests left a lasting legacy. Why this spot? His unparalleled skill, adaptability in combat, and influence on martial arts make him an iconic figure in history. Warrior number 3, Leonidas I. Leonidas I, the king of Sparta, is one of the most iconic figures in ancient history. Born in 540 BCE, Leonidas was raised in the Spartan tradition, which emphasized discipline, strength, and military prowess. His most famous moment came during the Battle of Thermopylae in 480 BCE, leading a small force of 300 Spartans and a few thousand allied Greek soldiers. Leonidas faced the overwhelming Persian army of King Xerxes I. For 3 days, his forces held a narrow pass, using superior tactics and unyielding determination to repel waves of Persian attacks. Though they were eventually surrounded and defeated, their sacrifice inspired Greece to rally and ultimately defeat the Persians. Why this spot? His bravery, leadership, and the legacy of Thermopylae symbolize the spirit of resistance against impossible odds. Warrior number 4, Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan, born Temujin around 1162 in the Mongolian steppes, faced a harsh and challenging childhood. After his father's assassination, his family lived in poverty, but Temujin displayed extraordinary leadership skills, uniting the fractured Mongolian tribes under his rule. He began a series of conquests that made him one of the most feared warlords in history. His armies were known for their lightning-fast attacks, strict discipline, and advanced communication systems. Genghis Khan not only conquered China, Central Asia, Persia, and parts of Eastern Europe but also created the largest contiguous empire in history. Beyond being a conqueror, he was a reformer, introducing laws, promoting trade, and ensuring safety along the Silk Road. Why this spot? His strategic brilliance, organizational prowess, and ruthless efficiency solidified his place as a symbol of unstoppable power. Warrior number 5, William Wallace. William Wallace, a Scottish knight and hero, was born in the 1270s. During a time when England, under King Edward I, sought to subjugate Scotland, Wallace rose as a symbol of resistance. After his village was destroyed by English forces, he led a rebellion against their rule. His most famous victory was the Battle of Stirling Bridge in 1297, where his smaller Scottish force defeated a larger English army through clever tactics. Wallace waged guerrilla warfare, inflicting heavy losses on the English. His actions inspired his people, though he was eventually betrayed and captured. Wallace was executed in 1305, but his struggle paved the way for Scotland's eventual independence. Why this spot? His heroism and unwavering dedication to freedom make him one of Scotland's most beloved figures. Warrior number 6, Richard the Lionheart. Richard I, known as Richard the Lionheart, was born in 1157. From a young age, he displayed exceptional military talent. During the Third Crusade, he became renowned as a fearless warrior and inspiring leader, personally leading attacks and capturing cities. His greatest adversary was Saladin, the ruler of Egypt and Syria. While they failed to reach a lasting peace, Richard secured safe access for Christian pilgrims to Jerusalem. He also achieved a significant victory at the Battle of Arsuf, using superior tactics to defeat Saladin's forces. Why this spot? His courage and leadership qualities etched his name into the history of the Crusades. Warrior number 7, Attila the Hun. Attila, king of the Huns, lived during the 5th century and was a terror to the Roman Empire. His armies moved with incredible speed, conquering cities and spreading fear. Attila used cunning and diplomacy to weaken his enemies before striking. His invasion of the Western Roman Empire reached Italy, but Rome itself was spared after negotiations with Pope Leo I. Attila died in 453, and his empire quickly disintegrated, but his name remains synonymous with fear and destruction. Why this spot? His military achievements and ability to sow chaos make him one of history's greatest conquerors. Warrior number 8, Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon Bonaparte, born in 1769 on the island of Corsica, rose from a military officer to the Emperor of France. His early successes, particularly in the Italian campaign, showcased his brilliance in maneuvering troops and exploiting terrain. Napoleon's most famous victory was at the Battle of Austerlitz in 1805, known as the Battle of the Three Emperors, where he decisively defeated a combined Austrian and Russian army. However, not all his campaigns were successful. His 1812 invasion of Russia ended disastrously due to harsh winters and guerrilla resistance. Even after being exiled to Elba, Napoleon staged a dramatic return during the 100 Days before his final defeat at the Battle of Waterloo. He was exiled again to St. Helena, where he died in 1821. Why this spot? His tactical genius, organizational skills, and strategic foresight left an indelible mark on military history and the world. Warrior number 9, Spartacus. Spartacus, a Thracian warrior turned gladiator, became a legendary symbol of the fight for freedom. In 73 BCE, he led a slave rebellion against the Roman Empire, known as the Third Servile War. Starting with an escape from a gladiator school in Capua, he quickly amassed an army of thousands of slaves and discontented peasants. Using guerrilla tactics and his knowledge of the terrain, Spartacus achieved a series of victories against Roman legions, even defeating several experienced commanders. Although he planned to escape to northern Europe, internal divisions forced him to remain in Italy. In 71 BCE, the Romans, led by Marcus Crassus, defeated the rebels. Spartacus died in battle, but his story inspired many in future generations. Why this spot? His leadership and bravery against a powerful empire made him a legend and a symbol of the fight for freedom. Warrior number 10, Hannibal Barca. Hannibal Barca, a Carthaginian general and one of history's greatest military strategists, was born in 247 BCE in Carthage, a powerful city-state in North Africa. As the son of the renowned general Hamilcar Barca, Hannibal inherited his father's hatred of Rome, the archrival of Carthage. At a young age, he reportedly swore an oath to destroy Rome, a promise that would define his life and legacy. Hannibal's most remarkable feat was his campaign during the Second Punic War, 218 to 201 BCE, where he aimed to bring Rome to its knees. In a daring and unprecedented move, he led an army of about 50,000 soldiers, 9,000 cavalry, and nearly 40 war elephants across the Alps. This journey was fraught with peril. His forces faced treacherous mountain terrain, harsh weather, and attacks from hostile tribes. Despite losing nearly half his men and most of his elephants, Hannibal emerged on the other side ready to confront Rome. One of Hannibal's most famous victories occurred at the Battle of Cannae in 216 BCE. Using a double envelopment tactic, he surrounded and annihilated a Roman army of over 80,000 troops, despite commanding a much smaller force. This battle remains a textbook example of tactical brilliance, studied by military leaders to this day. Hannibal's victory struck fear into the heart of Rome and inspired defections among its allies, shaking the foundation of the Roman Republic. However, Hannibal's campaign was not without setbacks. Despite his repeated victories on the battlefield, he lacked the resources and reinforcements to lay siege to Rome itself. Over time, Roman generals like Scipio Africanus adapted their strategies, eventually defeating Hannibal at the Battle of Zama in 202 BCE, marking the end of the Second Punic War. After the war, Hannibal continued to resist Rome through political and military means, serving as an advisor and commander for other enemies of Rome. His relentless opposition made him a hunted man. In his final years, Hannibal took refuge in various courts but was relentlessly pursued by the Romans. In 183 BCE, cornered and facing capture, he chose to end his life by taking poison, reportedly saying, "Let us relieve the Romans of their fears by the death of a hated old man." Why this spot? Hannibal's ingenuity, boldness, and ability to inspire loyalty among his troops make him one of the most formidable generals in history. His campaign against Rome not only demonstrated unmatched tactical brilliance but also reshaped the ancient world's balance of power. While he ultimately lost the war, his legacy endures as a symbol of defiance and genius in the face of overwhelming odds.